Stepmom cast a little girl out after her father's funeral. Then an unexpected millionaire walked in. The sky hung heavy with clouds the morning Daniel Carter was laid to rest. The cemetery was damp, the air thick with sorrow. His little daughter, Lila, just 9 years old, clutched a bundle of daisies with trembling fingers. Her dress, an ill-fitting black frock borrowed from a neighbor, swallowed her fragile frame. Her eyes were swollen, not from sleep, but from countless hours of crying. Beside her stood Veronica, Daniel's widow. She was beautiful in a cold, statuesque way, with painted lips and calculating eyes that never softened toward the girl at her side. Instead of holding Lila's hand or comforting her, Veronica leaned toward a tall man lurking near the back row. His name was Victor, her secret lover, though after Daniel's death, she hardly bothered to keep it secret anymore. When the final prayers ended and mourners drifted away, Lila lingered by her father's grave. She whispered softly, "I'll miss you, Daddy. Please don't leave me alone." But alone she was. That night, the house felt emptier than ever. Lila wandered from room to room, searching for traces of her father, his old jacket draped over a chair, the faint smell of his cologne. She found his watch still on the dresser, the one he always promised she'd keep when she was older. She pressed it to her cheek, pretending for a moment that it was his hand. Veronica's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "Pack your things." Lila blinked up at her. "WH, what do you mean?" "I mean, you don't belong here anymore." Veronica snapped. "Your father's gone. I'm not wasting my life raising a brat that isn't mine." Tears welled in Lila's eyes. "But where will I go?" "That's not my problem." Veronica shoved a tiny suitcase into her hands. "Maybe some neighbor will pity you. Maybe not. Either way, you're out of my house." Her house, not their home. Before dawn, Veronica pushed Lila out the door with nothing but the small suitcase and her father's watch tucked carefully inside. The door slammed, the lock clicked, and the sound echoed like a cruel finality. Lila sat on the steps, hugging her knees, watching her breath fog in the cold morning air. The world felt enormous, terrifying. She was 9, too young to fend for herself, too small to fight back. Then fate intervened. A sleek black car rolled down the quiet street, its headlights slicing through the mist. It stopped right in front of the house. The door opened, and out stepped a tall man in a tailored suit. His presence commanded attention, the kind of man who looked like he belonged on magazine covers, with silver at his temples and eyes that missed nothing. Jonathan Hale, a millionaire businessman known across the city for both his wealth and his iron will. But Lila didn't know him. To her, he was just a stranger staring at her tear-stained face. "Little one," he said gently, kneeling down so his eyes met hers. "Why are you sitting out here all alone?" Lila swallowed hard. My stepmom said I can't stay. She doesn't want me anymore." Something flickered across Jonathan's face. Anger, sorrow, recognition. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Lila," she whispered. Jonathan exhaled sharply. "Lila Carter?" Her eyes widened. "Yes. How do you know?" Jonathan's jaw tightened. "Because your father was my closest friend." Daniel and Jonathan had grown up together, 2 boys from the same neighborhood who had built their lives side by side. Jonathan had gone on to immense wealth, while Daniel had chosen a quieter life, pouring his love into his little daughter. But they had always promised each other, "If anything ever happens to me, look after my family." And now, here was Daniel's daughter, abandoned, shivering on the steps of what was once her home. Jonathan stood, his expression like stone. He knocked on the door. Hard Veronica answered, annoyance flashing in her eyes. "Oh, Jonathan." Her lips curved into a false smile. What a surprise. Jonathan's eyes narrowed. "You threw her out?" "She's not my responsibility," Veronica said coolly. "Daniel's gone. I have my own life now." "That child is his life," Jonathan growled. "And you left her on the street?" Victor sauntered into view, smirking. "Don't get so worked up, Hale. The brat will be fine. Kids bounce back." Jonathan's fists clenched. For a moment, the air seemed charged with electricity. But then he turned away, his voice low and commanding. Pack whatever belongs to her. She's coming with me. Veronica bristled. You can't just... Try and stop me, Jonathan snapped, his tone sharp enough to silence her. Lila looked up at him, hope flickering in her eyes for the first time since her father's death. Jonathan bent down, lifting her suitcase with one hand and taking her small hand with the other. You're not alone anymore, Lila. I promised your father I'd protect you, and I don't break my promises. Life with Jonathan was like stepping into another world. His home was vast and filled with warmth, not because of the chandeliers or polished marble floors, but because he treated Lila as though she were his own. He sat with her at breakfast, listened to her stories, and held her hand whenever nightmares woke her in the night. At first, Lila was shy, always expecting the kindness to fade. But Jonathan's patience never wavered. Slowly, her laughter returned. She began drawing again, pictures of her father, of the daisies she laid on his grave, of the big house that now felt safe. But Veronica wasn't finished. She and Victor filed papers, claiming they were entitled to Daniel's estate, arguing that Jonathan had no right to take the girl. They wanted money, not Lila, but if custody meant leverage, they would fight for it. Jonathan hired the best lawyer in the city. The courtroom became a battlefield. Veronica and Victor sneering across the aisle, Jonathan seated beside Lila, his hand resting protectively over hers. When Lila was called to speak, the judge's gentle tone didn't ease her trembling. Lila, where do you want to live? She glanced at Veronica, who glared at her as if daring her to choose wrong. Then she turned to Jonathan, who gave her a small, reassuring nod. Her voice quivered but held steady. I want to stay with Mr. Hale. He keeps me safe. He cares about me. My stepmom doesn't. The courtroom fell silent. The judge's gaze softened. It didn't take long for the verdict. Custody was granted to Jonathan Hale. Months passed. Seasons changed. And Lila blossomed in her new life. She thrived in school, learned piano, and filled a mansion with drawings and laughter. Jonathan never let a day go by without reminding her, you are loved. You are safe. On the anniversary of Daniel's death, Jonathan took her to the cemetery. Together, they laid daisies on the grave. Lila knelt whispering, Daddy, I miss you, but I'm okay now. Mr. Hale takes care of me. I think you'd like him. Jonathan placed a hand on her shoulder, his own eyes misting. He would be proud of you, Lila. So very proud. For the first time since her father's passing, Lila smiled at the grave. Not because the pain was gone, but because love had found her again. And as they walked away hand in hand, Jonathan silently vowed, I'll protect her for the rest of my life. She will never be cast out again. Because sometimes, family isn't just the one you're born into. It's the one that refuses to let you go.